The only time I go to the Rainbow is when Mickey's in town, Or of course, Lemmy, I'd go down and hang out with Lemmy,
Hmm.
and Lemmy was there every night, 7 days a week. So, and then when he passed away, it was really awesome that they made a Lemmy room outside the Rainbow and a
Yeah.
6 foot statue of him. And it's the Lemmy room, and all the
Amazing.
chairs have the Motorhead logo on them. And it's pretty cool.
That's a touching tribute, man. And I mean, definitely like that. Those were his stomping grounds, right? So it has to be there.
He didn't
Um,
drive, he didn't drive.
right.
He lived like 2 blocks away. He just walk up. And I could always find him. They said, oh, he's playing poker. I said, no, no. In the 80s, he was playing Pac-Man.
Pac-Man.
And he always had the highest score on Pac-Man. It was the only video game in the Rainbow. And it was off on the side in the bar in the corner.
Wow.
And Lemmy had a high score. And then they start putting those video poker games, and he switched over to that.
Right.
But I loved Lemmy. But it's funny about Lemmy, he was the first famous musician I ever met.
Really?
I met him in Hamburg, Germany. We were in our first tour in 79, and we're getting ready to play the Top 10 club where the Beatles used to play. And I went in there the night before we played to check out the club down the Reeperbahn, was all the hookers were.
Hmm.
And I saw this guy sitting there with a hat on, and it looks like Lemmy Kilmister. So I walked over and, hey, my name's Don Dokken. I'm in a band. We're playing tomorrow night. And he said, are you buying? And I'm
If
like,
not, keep
hell
it
yeah,
moving.
man. I want to hang out with Lemmy Kilmister. And we became like great friends after that. When he was in LA, I didn't have to be on the guest list. I could just go up to the door and say, can you just tell Lemmy that Don Dawkins here? And he'd just get me right in. And after the show, we'd go on his tour bus and just hang out, He
Man.
was a great guy. And, we always thought, because he was very open about it in his documentary, that he did speed, he did
Yeah.
coke, he drank shitloads of Jack Daniels. And, who would have thought that he'd get a brain tumor and die?
Seriously, the fact that he outlived all of that, right? It's almost hard to believe, but it's very Lemmy, it's very like enigmatic, and it goes with his whole persona, right?
And he never lied about it,
Yeah.
in his documentary. I mean, he's like, here's my apartment. I mean, he could have bought a mansion. He could have built a big house. He was totally happy in his little apartment,
That's
two
true.
blocks in the Rainbow for 30 years.
Man.
And when I first met him, he was living in London, and he lived on what they call a longboat, these long, skinny boats
Hmm.
on the Thames River. And he lived in this, he had like a boat he lived on. And I was like, then I understood when I got famous, when people walk up and they're all goo goo gaga. I mean, when
Right.
I saw Lemmy, I was like, oh my God, it's Lemmy. I
Yeah.
didn't I didn't know what to say to him. I just felt like a groupie. It's Lemmy. And we became great friends. And then of course Mickey joined Motorhead. So we have a long history between all those European bands, and like Saxon, I became friends with Biff, and we were nobody. Dokken was like, we were just a little band being a support band. So anyway, that's the history of all that. We all just kind of became a family. But then I
Wow.
decided I'd had enough LA after 40 years, and I wanted to get away and live up in the mountains in the middle of nowhere and be a recluse. And that's what I do now.